and we'll keep drifting, floating together through the mysteries, 100 alien worlds mysteries, looping softly, endlessly through the night. Tonight we'll drift through the hidden oceans of Europa and Enceladus, where alien tides may already be stirring, planets that wander alone through eternal night severed from every sun, and the quiet ring around each star where a world can cradle liquid water and maybe something watching back. There's nothing you need to do now. Just let your body sink, heavier, heavier. Feel the mattress holding you, every muscle softening, your heartbeat slowing, thump, thump, matching the rhythm of space itself. Shoulders melting down, jaw releasing, each breath pulling you deeper, deeper into the calm, the quiet, the dark. If this helps you rest, tap subscribe, comment, and hit like, so others can find this calm too, but only if your eyes are still open. Otherwise, just drift. Now, let's drift into alien worlds, beneath the icy shell of Europa, miles and miles down. There's an ocean, dark, warm, touching, a subsurface sea that holds twice the water of all Earth's oceans combined, swirling, moving in the blackness. The ice above, 15 miles thick in places, creaking, shifting, as Jupiter's gravity pulls and releases like a cosmic tide. Thump, thump, and in that pulling, that squeezing, heat is born, friction warming the ocean below, creating hydrothermal vents like chimneys on Earth's ocean floor, spewing minerals, energy, the building blocks, perhaps of something alive. Enceladus, Saturn's tiny moon, so small you could drive across it in a day, yet it erupts, geysers of ice and water vapor, shooting 100 miles into space, freezing instantly, falling back down like snow, or drifting away, becoming part of Saturn's rings. Those plumes, they contain salt, organic molecules, the chemical signatures of a hidden ocean, 6 miles beneath the surface, warmed by tidal forces, kept liquid in the freezing void. And scientists wonder, in these dark waters, beneath that frozen ceiling, could microbial life be floating, feeding, existing, unknown? Your eyelids, heavier now, heavier, like the ice pressing down on those ocean worlds. Let them close, if they haven't already. There's no rush, no schedule, just the slow drift through space, through sleep, out beyond the star systems, beyond the light, beyond the warmth. Rogue planets tumble, worlds without suns, ejected from their birth systems by gravitational chaos. A close encounter with a giant planet, a stellar flyby, and suddenly cast out into the eternal night. These orphans drift through the galaxy in darkness so complete, no dawn will ever break their horizon. Thump, thump. Yet some astronomers believe these rogue worlds might number in the billions, outnumbering the stars themselves, a hidden population, invisible, unless they pass in front of something bright. A rogue planet might have been a gas giant once, like Jupiter, with its own moons, and when it was flung into the dark, those moons came too, still orbiting their planet, still feeling tidal heating, still perhaps with subsurface oceans, kept warm not by a star, but by the squeeze and release of their planet's gravity. Life, if it exists there, would live by geothermal energy alone, never knowing sunlight, never needing it, heavier, heavier, sinking into that darkness. The habitable zone, astronomers call it the Goldilocks zone. Not too hot, not too cold, just right. The region around a star where liquid water could exist on a planet's surface. For our Sun, that zone stretches from about Venus's orbit to just beyond Mars. Earth, sitting comfortably in the middle, but every star has its own habitable zone. Red dwarfs, cool and dim, have habitable zones very close. Planets there orbit in days, not years. Big, bright stars, their zones stretch far out. But those stars burn fast, dying before life has time to evolve. Kepler 186, 500 light-years away, orbits in the habitable zone of a red dwarf star, slightly larger than Earth, receiving about 1/3 the light Earth gets from the Sun. Like perpetual late afternoon, scientists wonder if plants grew there, would they still be green? Or would they evolve darker pigments to capture every photon of that dimmer light? A forest under a crimson sky, leaves black or deep purple, shadows long and soft. The sun, smaller in the sky, but lasting forever, steady, burning for trillions of years, time enough for anything to evolve. Let your breathing slow, slow, matching the orbit of distant worlds, in and out, like tides, pulled by invisible moons. Your body, softening, releasing, muscle by muscle, into the dark. The TRAPPIST-1 system, only 40 light-years away, 7 Earth-sized worlds, orbiting a star so small and cool, it's barely a star at all, more like a hot Jupiter, glowing dull red. And those 7 planets, packed so close together, if you stood on one, you'd see the others in the sky, not as dots, but as disks, some larger than our moon, hanging there, moving visibly, hour by hour. 3 of these worlds orbit in the habitable zone, designated E, F, and G. They're probably tidally locked, one face always toward the star, one face in eternal night, but in between, a belt of twilight where temperatures might be just right, where water could pool, where clouds could form and rain could fall endlessly in the dim red light. Tidally locked worlds, eyeball planets. They're called Imagine. One hemisphere baked, scorched, dry. The other frozen, dark, a cap of ice miles thick. But along the terminator and that ring where day meets night, a band of liquid water, perhaps a single eternal ocean, circling the world, fed by melting ice on one side, evaporating into the day side on the other, clouds forming, drifting, raining back down, a thin habitable belt where the temperature never changes, where the sun hangs frozen on the horizon, forever setting or rising, depending on where you stand. Thump, thump, your heartbeat, that steady rhythm, like a planet's orbit, predictable, endless. Feel it slowing, slowing as you sink deeper, nothing to hold on to, just floating through the mysteries. Super Earths, planets larger than ours, but smaller than Neptune, with up to 10 times Earth's mass. They're the most common type of planet in the galaxy, yet our solar system has none. On a super Earth, gravity would crush 2 times, 3 times what we feel. Your weight would double. Muscles and bones would need to be stronger, hearts working harder. Thump, thump, thump. But the atmosphere would be thicker, held down by that gravity. Perhaps a planetary greenhouse, warm, dense, with weather patterns we can't imagine. Storms that last for centuries, winds that never stop. Mini Neptunes, slightly smaller than Neptune, with thick hydrogen and helium atmospheres surrounding a rocky or icy core. They might have no solid surface at all, just atmosphere getting denser, denser, until it becomes liquid, then solid, a gradient from sky to core with no place to stand. Or perhaps, beneath those crushing atmospheres, there are water oceans. Under so much pressure, the water exists in exotic forms. Superionic ice, hot but solid, conducting electricity, a state that shouldn't exist, but does, in the depths. Volcanic Jupiter's moon, caught in a gravitational tug-of-war between Jupiter and its other moons, squeezed and stretched like a rubber ball, generating more heat than any world its size should have. Its surface, a nightmare of volcanoes, hundreds of them, erupting constantly, plumes of sulfur shooting 200 miles into space, raining back down as yellow and red snow. The ground, never still, always melting, reforming, cracking, lakes of molten rock, mountains that exist for mere years before being buried in fresh lava. No water, no life, just heat, endless, relentless heat. The muscles releasing, letting go, like the surface of Io, constantly reshaping, but peacefully, gently, melting into rest. Heavier, heavier. Diamond planets, worlds like 55 Cancri A. Super Earth orbiting so close to its star. A year there lasts just 18 hours. Temperatures reaching 4,000 degrees, hot enough to melt rock, to vaporize metals. This world, scientists believe, is rich in carbon, and under that heat, that pressure, carbon transforms into diamond. A planet with a thick diamond mantle, perhaps, beneath an atmosphere of vaporized silicates, clouds of rock, rain that falls as liquid glass. The night side slightly cooler, where diamonds might glisten in the starlight, if you could survive to see them. A gemstone the size of a world, spinning, burning, alone. Water worlds, ocean planets covered entirely in liquid, no land, no continents, just water, miles deep, perhaps hundreds of miles. An ocean without a floor you could reach. Life in such places, if it evolved, would never know the concept of solid ground. Always swimming, floating, drifting, like you are now, in the dark. Creatures that dive deep or stay near the surface, where light filters down from above, but no beaches, no shores, No place where water ends and something else begins. Just the curve of the planet and the ocean, everywhere, always. Some water worlds might have surfaces so thick with ice. The ocean lies beneath, protected, insulated. The ice becomes exotic at depth, icy 7th, ice X, crystal structures that exist only under crushing pressure, and beneath all of it, the liquid ocean, warmed from below by radioactive decay in the core, or by tidal heating. Life there would never see the stars, never know a sky, trapped between ice above and rock below, in eternal darkness, feeding on chemical energy from hydrothermal vents, thriving in the deep. Your thoughts drifting away now, like icebergs carving from a glacier, floating off, disappearing into the dark water of sleep. Let them go, heavier, heavier, sinking. Gas giants, worlds like Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, no solid surface to land on, just atmosphere. Thousands of miles deep, getting warmer, denser as you fall. At some point, the gas becomes liquid, a metallic hydrogen ocean, conducting electricity, generating powerful magnetic fields. But where does the atmosphere end and the ocean begin? There's no boundary, no interface, just a gradient, gas to liquid, seamlessly, thump, thump, and deeper still, perhaps a core, rock and ice, crushed under unimaginable pressure. Or maybe not, maybe just more hydrogen. All the way down, Saturn's rings, thin, impossibly thin, thousands of miles wide, but in some places only 30 feet thick, made of ice chunks, some as small as dust grains, others as large as houses, all orbiting, colliding, breaking apart, clumping together in a constant slow dance. The rings. They're young, perhaps only a few 100 million years old. Maybe from a moon that wandered too close and was torn apart by tidal forces, or from a comet that crashed into a moon, shattering it, scattering its remains into orbit. From Saturn's surface, if there were a surface, you'd see them edge on, a thin, bright line across the sky, arcing from horizon to horizon, casting shadows, creating eclipses. The Cassini division, a gap in Saturn's rings, wide enough to fit the moon Enceladus, cleared by the gravitational resonance of the moon, Mimas. Every time a ring particle completes 2 orbits, Mimas completes 1, and the repeated tug pulls particles out, leaving emptiness, darkness, between the bright bands. Thump, thump, gravity, sculpting, shaping, creating order from chaos. Your body, held by the gravity of the bed, pulled down, supported, safe. Every part of you, heavy, so heavy, like you're made of lead, but comfortable, sinking, melting. The pillars of creation in the Eagle Nebula, towering columns of gas and dust, light years long, where new stars are being born, the pillars being sculpted by ultraviolet light from nearby massive stars, eroding them, slowly revealing the young stars hidden inside. Each pillar contains enough material to make thousands of stars, and around each star, a disk of gas and dust. Protoplanetary disks, where planets will form, are forming, have formed already. Worlds we'll never see, too distant, too young, shrouded in dust. Inside those dust disks, particles collide, stick together, growing from microscopic specks to pebbles to boulders to planetesimals, kilometers across, all orbiting the new star, slowly, slowly, pulled together by gravity, building worlds grain by grain. Some will become rocky planets, terrestrial worlds like Earth. Others will grow large enough to capture hydrogen from the disk, becoming gas giants. The process takes millions of years, but eventually the disk clears, the gas blows away, and what remains is a solar system. Planets, moons, asteroids, all the debris of creation. Some forming planets might orbit binary stars, two suns circling each other, and the planet, it could orbit close, weaving between the two stars in a figure eight, or far out, where the stars look like a single bright point. On such a world, if you lived on the right one, you'd see two sunrises, two sunsets, two shadows that shift and cross as the day progresses. Never full darkness, one sun setting as the other rises, eternal daylight, or if your orbit is right, strange seasons when both suns shine together, and times when only one illuminates the sky, planets in globular clusters, ancient, so ancient. These dense balls of stars orbiting the outskirts of galaxies contain some of the oldest stars in the universe, 13 billion years old, formed when the universe was young, and if they have planets, those worlds are ancient too. Formed from material that contained almost no heavy elements, just hydrogen and helium. Could planets even form in such conditions? Could life arise? And if so, what kind of life? Civilizations, perhaps, that have existed for billions of years, watching the universe age, seeing galaxies collide, stars being born and dying, thump, thump, witnessing everything. Your breath, so slow now, barely moving, like the orbit of a distant planet, years passing with each inhale, exhale, time, losing meaning, just the present, the now, the dark, the great filter, the hypothesis that somewhere between primordial soup and galaxy-spanning civilization, there's a barrier, a step so difficult, so unlikely, that most life never passes it. Maybe it's the origin of life itself, that first replicating molecule. Maybe it's the jump to multicellular organisms, which on Earth took billions of years, or intelligence, just technology, the ability to avoid self-destruction. The galaxy should be teeming with life. The numbers say so, but we see nothing, hear nothing, no signals, no evidence. So where is everyone? Perhaps we're the first, or perhaps the filter is ahead of us, waiting. Thump, thump. The Fermi paradox, named after physicist Enrico Fermi, who asked, where is everybody? With billions of stars in the galaxy, billions of planets, if even a tiny fraction developed life, developed technology, where are they? Why haven't they visited, colonized, sent signals? Perhaps they're too far away. Distance is too vast. Light taking centuries, millennia to travel between stars. Or perhaps they're here, watching, not revealing themselves, waiting. Or perhaps life is rarer than we think, consciousness even rarer, and we're alone, or nearly so, in this vast, dark, silent galaxy. Brown dwarfs, failed stars, not massive enough to ignite hydrogen fusion in their cores. They form like stars from collapsing gas clouds, but stop short somewhere between planet and star. They glow from leftover heat from their formation, slowly cooling over billions of years. Some are hot enough to emit visible light, others just infrared, invisible to our eyes, warm but dark. And around brown dwarfs, planets could orbit, worlds receiving only faint warmth from their failed sun. A planet there might have a sky that's perpetually dim, lit by a dull ember, casting no shadows, just a diffuse glow, everywhere and nowhere at once. Could life evolve on a planet orbiting a brown dwarf? Perhaps, if the world had internal heat, radioactivity, tidal heating from moons or nearby planets, life that doesn't depend on starlight, but on geothermal energy, volcanic vents, chemical reactions. Deep sea communities on Earth live like this already, clustered around black smokers, never seeing the sun, thriving in the dark. So perhaps, thump, thump, your mind, quiet now, thoughts barely forming, like signals from distant stars, faint, fading until there's nothing but the gentle static of rest, heavier, heavier, sinking. Red dwarf stars, small, cool, the most common type of star in the galaxy, making up about 70% of all stars. They burn slowly, so slowly, some will shine for trillions of years, long after stars like our sun have died. Their habitable zones are close. Planets orbit in days or weeks, tidally locked, one face always toward the star, and red dwarfs are active, prone to flares, violent eruptions of radiation and charged particles that could strip away a planet's atmosphere, sterilize its surface, unless the planet has a strong magnetic field to deflect the solar wind or a thick atmosphere to absorb the radiation, or life that adapted, perhaps living underground, in caves, beneath the surface, sheltered, ultra-hot Jupiters, gas giants orbiting closer to their stars than Mercury orbits the Sun, so close their years last mere days. Their surfaces, if they have surfaces, reach temperatures over 3,000 degrees, hot enough to vaporize metals. Titanium, iron, exist as gases in their atmospheres, condensing on the night side, falling as metallic rain, then evaporating again on the day side. The winds, hypersonic, thousands of miles per hour, driven by the temperature difference, circulating heat, creating permanent planet-wide storms. Some ultra-hot Jupiters are being evaporated, stripped away by stellar radiation, leaving trails of gas behind them like comets, shrinking, slowly dying. In a few 100 million years, maybe less. They'll be gone, reduced to their rocky cores, if they have cores, Chthonian planets, stripped, exposed, barren, orbiting in the inferno. Titan, Saturn's largest moon, larger than Mercury, with a thick nitrogen atmosphere, thicker than Earth's, and lakes, rivers, rain, but not water, methane, liquidy methane and ethane, pooling in depressions, forming seas in the polar regions. Ligea Mare, Cretan Mare, liquid hydrocarbon oceans, hundreds of feet deep. The rain falls slowly in the thick air and low gravity, drifting down like snow. The sky, orange, hazy, smog from organic molecules forming in the upper atmosphere, blocking most sunlight. Titan's surface, dim even at noon, a twilight world. Could there be life in Titan's methane lakes? Life as we don't know it, using liquid methane as a solvent instead of water, metabolizing in ways we can't imagine, slow, cold, alien, moving through the hazy orange darkness, beneath skies that never clear, never show the stars, just Saturn, massive, hanging in the sky, ringed, beautiful, forever. Your eyelids, sealed now, impossibly heavy, like Titan's atmosphere, pressing down, gentle, soft, protective, wrapping you in darkness. Hot Neptunes, worlds the size of Neptune, orbiting close to their stars, in the process of evaporating, losing their atmospheres to stellar wind. They're rare, a gap in the distribution of planets, because most don't survive. Either they migrate inward and get destroyed, or they lose so much atmosphere they become rocky super-Earths. We might be watching them transition, transform, from one type of planet to another in cosmic real time. Cold Jupiters, gas giants orbiting beyond the snowline, the distance where water ice can form. These are more like Jupiter, Saturn, born in the cold outer system. Accumulating thick atmospheres of hydrogen, they might have migrated inward, slightly, but stayed in the cold. Their moons could be icy, with subsurface oceans like Europa, Enceladus, hidden biospheres, waiting, unknown, the worlds of Troy, planets sharing an orbit, stable points 60 degrees ahead or behind, moving together forever, never colliding, held in gravitational balance. Earth has Troy asteroids sharing its orbit, but could there be planets, whole worlds, trapped at these Lagrange points, orbiting in lockstep? Civilizations on those worlds would see their companion planet in the sky, always in the same position, never moving, a permanent neighbor, close enough, perhaps for radio signals, for eventual contact. If intelligence arose on both, the magnetic field of a planet, its shield, deflecting solar wind, charged particles that would otherwise strip away the atmosphere, Earth's magnetic field, generated by its liquid iron core, rotating, convecting, creating electric currents, which create the field. Mars once had a magnetic field, but its core cooled, solidified, and the field died. Slowly, the solar wind stripped away most of Mars's atmosphere, leaving it cold, dry, hostile. But in the past, when Mars was young, when it had a magnetic field and thick atmosphere, could it have been warm, wet, alive? Your thoughts scattered, dissolving, like atmosphere leaking into space, drifting away, molecule by molecule, until nothing remains but peace, silence, thump, thump, heavier, heavier. The panspermia hypothesis, the idea that life, or its building blocks, can travel between worlds, between star systems, on asteroids, comets, ejected by impacts, drifting through space for millions of years, arriving on new worlds, seeding them. Some microbes on Earth can survive in space, exposed to vacuum, radiation, extreme temperatures for years. So perhaps life began somewhere else, was transported here, or perhaps Earth life has already contaminated other worlds on meteorites blasted from our surface, travelling to Mars, Europa, beyond. We might be the aliens, or descended from them. Thump, thump, exomoons, moons of exoplanets, harder to detect than planets, but possibly common. A gas giant in the habitable zone. Its moons could have liquid water, atmospheres. Could life evolve on a moon instead of a planet? We have one example, Earth's moon, lifeless. But moons around gas giants, with tidal heating, might be different, might be active, volcanic, with thick atmospheres, the sky, dominated by the parent planet, looming, enormous, showing phases, full, half, crescent, new, beautiful, constant, eternal, pulsars, rapidly rotating neutron stars, remnants of supernovae, spinning, emitting beams of radiation like cosmic lighthouses. Some pulsars have planets. How they survived the supernova, or if they formed after from the debris, remains a mystery. These worlds, bombarded constantly by radiation, their surfaces sterilized, dead, but they exist, orbiting corpses of stars in rhythms so precise they can be used as cosmic clocks. Thump, thump, thump. Your heartbeat, fainter now, distant, like a pulsar, light years away, steady, eternal, but barely perceptible, fading into the background, into sleep. Quasars, the brightest objects in the universe, supermassive black holes at the centers of galaxies, feeding, devouring matter, heating it to millions of degrees, emitting more light than 1 trillion stars, visible across billions of light years. But could planets orbit near quasars in that intense radiation, that heat? Probably not, but farther out, beyond the deadly zone, perhaps. Worlds bathed in the light of the quasar, their skies dominated by that brilliant point, outshining everything, never knowing true darkness, always illuminated by their galaxy's burning heart. The Drake equation, a way to estimate the number of communicative civilizations in the galaxy. It multiplies factors, the rate of star formation, the fraction with planets, The number of habitable planets per system, the fraction where life arises, where intelligence evolves, where technology develops, where civilizations become detectable. The numbers are mostly guesses, unknowns, but depending on your assumptions, the galaxy could have millions of civilizations, or we could be alone, completely, utterly alone in the dark. Lava planets, worlds so close to their stars, their surfaces, a liquid rock, magma oceans, glowing, churning. The day side, maybe over 2,000 degrees. The night side, slightly cooler, solidifying, but then rotating back into the sun, melting again. An eternal cycle, creation and destruction. No water, no atmosphere, just heat, stone, fire. Planets in the process of being destroyed, slowly, their material evaporating, but not yet gone, still orbiting, still existing in agony. If planets could feel, your body, molten now, formless, relaxed, every muscle dissolved, melted into the mattress, into the bed, into sleep, heavier, heavier. No boundary between you and the darkness, just merging. Desert planets, like Arrakis from fiction, could be real. Worlds with thin atmospheres, little water, vast dunes of sand stretching to every horizon, skies clear, stars visible even during day, due to low atmospheric scattering, temperature extremes, scorching day, freezing night. Life there, if any, would cluster around oases, underground water, polar ice caps, adapted to conserve every drop, every resource precious, rare, fought over, perhaps. Planets with floating continents, on worlds with thick atmospheres, land masses, suspended on balloons of lighter gas, drifting, pushed by high altitude winds, never touching the ground. If there is ground, below, cloud cities, naturally occurring, where the pressure and temperature are just right, for life, for habitability. Organisms might evolve to live entirely in the air, never landing, born aloft, dying aloft. Entire ecosystems floating, drifting, like you, through the night. Thump, thump. High gravity mega worlds, super Earth several times Earth's mass, where gravity crushes, where evolution would favor low flat forms, animals, unable to grow tall, plants, spreading wide instead of reaching up, bones, thick, dense, atmosphere, trapped close to the ground, weather, violent, rapid. Beings there would be immensely strong by our standards, but trapped, unable to escape their gravity well. Space travel, almost impossible. Too much energy required. A civilization, forever bound to their world, looking up, wondering if other worlds exist, but unable to reach them. Low gravity bubble worlds, where beings could fly, with wings, or balloons, bones light, hollow, cities built vertically, towers miles high, stable in the weak gravity, falling, not dangerous, just slow, gentle, impact barely felt, sports, involving leaping, gliding, spending minutes in the air, life, adapted to 3 dimensions, not just the surface, using the vertical space, The endless sky, free. Your mind, untethered now, floating, like those beings, in that low gravity, no weight, no burden, just drift, drift, drift. The Voyager Golden Record carried on Voyager 1 and 2, messages to the cosmos, recordings of music, greetings in 55 languages, sounds of Earth, whales, thunder, footsteps, images of humans, trees, architecture, instructions on how to play the record, encoded in the cover. Now, Voyager 1 is in interstellar space, the first human-made object to leave the solar system, travelling at 38,000 miles per hour. In 40,000 years, it will drift near another star. AC plus 79, Thristius and ZT8. Will anyone find it, understand it, care, or will it drift forever? A message in a bottle, in an ocean without shores. Thump, thump. Ancient rogue civilizations. Hypothetical. What if? A technological species arose on a rogue planet in the darkness between stars, never seeing the night sky, never knowing about stars, galaxies, the broader universe. Their science would develop differently, no astronomy, until, perhaps, they developed the technology to detect distant stars by their gravity, infrared radiation, and the revelation that they're alone, adrift in eternal night, far from anything. How would that shape their philosophy, their culture, a people born in darkness, learning? They live in a void. Thump, thump. Dark matter influenced worlds, planets where dark matter density is higher. Does it affect them? We don't know. Dark matter doesn't interact, except through gravity. But if enough in one place, could it collapse, heat up, a dark matter star, warming planets nearby, invisible fuel, undetectable fire, worlds orbiting nothing, apparently, but kept warm, habitable, by something we can't see, can't touch, can barely prove exists. Mysteries within mysteries, eternal twilight worlds, tidally locked, where the sun hangs forever on the horizon, half above, half below, the sky, gradients of colour, orange, pink, purple, never the bright blue of noon, never the black of midnight, just transition. The Terminator band, the habitable zone, where temperature is stable, where wind patterns are predictable, where life could find equilibrium and never experience change, never know the cycle of day and night, just endless dusk or endless dawn, depending on perspective. Thump, thump, heavier, heavier. Worlds orbiting black holes at a safe distance, outside the event horizon, outside the accretion disk, but close enough to feel time dilation. A planet there, its year, might be hours or days as experienced on board, but to someone far away, years passing, centuries, time, elastic, stretched by gravity's pull. Beings on such a world would age slowly by cosmic standards, immortal, almost, as the universe speeds by, stars being born, dying, galaxies colliding, while they live their lives in slowed time. Thump, thump, thump. Magnetic storm planets, with fields so strong, compasses would be useless, direction meaningless. The aurora, not just at the poles, but everywhere, constantly, sheets of coloured light dancing across the entire sky, day and night, radiation belts, intense, trapping charged particles, creating hazards, but also beauty, lightning, connecting ground to sky, triggered by magnetic flux, never a quiet sky, always alive, always moving. Your breathing, shallow, barely there, like the thin atmosphere of a high-altitude world, effortless, automatic, just happening, without thought, without effort. Subsurface ocean moons, not just Europa and Enceladus, but perhaps dozens in our solar system alone. Moons of Jupiter, Saturn, maybe even Uranus and Neptune, hiding oceans beneath their ice. All those hidden seas, combined, could contain more water than all the surface oceans of Earth. Entire biospheres, perhaps, thriving in the dark, unknown, uncontacted. We've barely begun to look, thump, thump, worlds with shattered crusts, where tectonic forces or impacts have broken the surface into fragments, plates, not slowly drifting, but shattered like ice on a frozen lake in spring, gaps between, exposing the mantle beneath, glowing, hot, volcanism everywhere, not localized, but global, constant, the surface transient, always changing, no stable landforms, no continents, just chaos, beautiful, deadly, ever-changing chaos. Worlds of perpetual aurora, where the magnetosphere is so active, or the stellar wind so strong that auroras blaze constantly in every colour across the entire sky, green, red, purple, blue, shifting, swirling, curtains of light, life there, would evolve seeing not stars, but the aurora, using it, perhaps, for navigation, for telling time. The myths of such civilizations would be about the dancing lights, not the constellations. Different, alien, but beautiful. Thump, thump. Hydrogen-rich sky planets, mini Neptunes, where the atmosphere is mostly hydrogen and helium, thick, crushing, but life might float. Gas bag organisms, filled with lighter gases, drifting on wind currents, feeding on organic molecules in the air, never touching ground, entire ecosystems in the sky. Layers of life at different altitudes, different pressures, different temperatures, some near the top where sunlight penetrates, photosynthesizing, others deeper in the dark, feeding on what falls from above, a three-dimensional ocean of gas filled with life, drifting, floating, your consciousness drifting, floating, like those sky organisms, no anchor, no ground, just suspended in the medium of sleep, heavier, sinking, but also weightless, free, thump, 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 silicate vapor atmosphere worlds, so hot that rock itself evaporates, becoming atmospheric gas, clouds, made of molten silicate droplets, rain of liquid glass, falling, solidifying as it descends into slightly cooler layers, only to evaporate again when it hits the surface. A cycle of stone becoming vapor, becoming liquid, becoming solid, endlessly. The planet eating itself, vaporizing, condensing, never stable, never cool, trapped in a furnace by its own heat, star-skimming orbiters, planets whose orbits take them so close to their stars, they skim the outer atmosphere, the corona, feeling heat, pressure, drag, their orbits decaying, slowly, spiraling inward. Eventually, they'll plunge into the star, be consumed, destroyed. But for now, they survive, on the edge, dancing with annihilation. Planets with ringed horizons, where ring systems are seen not edge-on, but from within the orbital plane. From the surface, you'd look up and see the rings arcing across the sky, from one horizon to the other, thick, detailed, composed of countless particles, each catching sunlight, the shadows cast by the rings, creating eclipses daily as the planet rotates beneath them, bands of darkness sweeping across the landscape, then brightness again. A clock, written in shadow and light, marking time by the passage of ring shadow. Thump, thump, chaotic orbit worlds, where gravitational interactions with other planets make orbits unstable, elliptical, changing year by year, seasons, unpredictable. One year, the planet swings close to its star, scorching summer, the next, drifting far out into cold, ice forming, oceans freezing. Life there would need to adapt to extremes, to unpredictability, or migrate, following the habitable zone as it shifts, moves, never settling, always moving, always preparing for the next swing, inward or outward. Thump, thump. Your thoughts, chaotic too, but slowing, settling into patterns, simple, peaceful, like orbits stabilizing, finding equilibrium, heavier, heavier, ultra-dense core worlds where a planet's core makes up most of its mass, perhaps from a collision early in its history, stripping away the mantle and crust, leaving just the iron-nickel core exposed or barely covered. Such a world would have immense gravity for its size, magnetic fields incredibly strong from the metallic surface, conducting, spinning, surface features, none, just smooth metal, cratered, ancient, strange, a cannonball orbiting a star, dense, heavy, unyielding, neon atmosphere planets, rare, exotic, where neon, normally an inert noble gas, makes up a significant part of the air. Such atmospheres could only exist in specific conditions, extreme cold or captured from unusual nebular material. The sky might glow softly if electrified. Neon lights, natural, everywhere. A world lit by its own atmosphere, softly, in colours, pink, orange, blue, depending on energy input from auroras, from cosmic rays, from stellar wind, a planet, advertising its existence, glowing in the dark, tidally heated inferno moons, like Io, but worse, a moon caught between a massive planet and other moons, squeezed, stretched, so much that its interior never solidifies, magma throughout, eruptions constant, global, the surface, barely a surface, just a thin crust, constantly breaking or reforming, no old terrain, everything recycled, resurfaced, weekly, daily, a world that can't cool down, can't rest, trapped in gravitational torment forever. Thump, thump, your muscles released now, no tension anywhere, like that thin crust, but peaceful, settled, not breaking, just soft, melted into comfort, heavier, heavier, worlds with bioluminescent life, speculative but possible. On Earth, in the deep ocean, creatures glow to attract prey, to communicate, to confuse predators. On a world with dim starlight or thick atmosphere blocking sunlight, bioluminescence might be common, widespread. Forests glowing blue-green, animals leaving trails of light as they move, oceans shimmering with microscopic glowing plankton, the night never truly dark, just dotted, speckled with living light, a planet that generates its own illumination from within, from life itself. Thump, thump, planet-sized comets, worlds made mostly of ice and frozen gases, but large, the size of Earth or larger, drifting in the outer solar system, beyond the Kuiper belt, in the Oort cloud. These worlds, so cold that even nitrogen, oxygen, freeze solid, surfaces covered in exotic ices, methane, ammonia, carbon dioxide. If one were somehow moved closer to a star, it would sublimate, evaporate, creating a coma, a tail, larger than anything we've seen. A comet, the size of a planet, visible from light years away. Beautiful, doomed. Worlds formed around dead stars, white dwarfs, neutron stars, remnants of stars that died, exploded, or shed their outer layers. Planets there either survived the star's death somehow, or formed after from the debris. These worlds orbit close to glean heat from the dying ember of their sun, but white dwarfs cool slowly, taking billions, trillions of years to fade completely. Time enough, perhaps, for life to start again, to evolve on worlds baked clean by the star's death throes, then cooled, then, perhaps, renewed. Chthonian planets, the cores of gas giants, stripped of their atmospheres by stellar wind, by evaporation, left behind a rocky or metallic core, super-Earth-sized, dense, exposed, orbiting close to the star, in the place their atmosphere once shielded them from, now exposed, vulnerable, baked by radiation, but cores might contain heavy elements, metals, minerals, a planet made of the valuable interior, accessible, if anyone could survive there, to mine it. Hycean worlds, ocean planets, with hydrogen atmospheres, a new category, recently theorized, smaller than Neptune, larger than Earth, with deep global oceans, topped by thick hydrogen-rich atmospheres. The pressure from the atmosphere might allow liquid water at temperatures normally too hot, extending the habitable range. Life might exist at the ocean surface, where atmosphere and water meet, or deeper, in the ocean. The atmosphere, hydrogen, might support exotic life forms, or just be a blanket, keeping the ocean warm, stable, habitable. Your breath. Hydrogen light, easy, effortless, like breathing on a low-gravity world. No effort, just happening, in and out, slow, slower, thump, thump. Lava rain planets, ultra hot, where temperatures are so extreme that rock vaporizes, rises, cools at altitude, and falls back down as molten droplets, liquid stone, raining from the sky, pooling, flowing in rivers of magma before evaporating again. An endless cycle, precipitation of the planet's own substance. The weather forecast, always the same, hot, with a chance of lava, thump, thump. Metal-rich hell worlds, close to their stars, with high concentrations of iron, nickel, other heavy elements. Surfaces might be metallic, reflective, shining. The sky, possibly filled with metal vapor, clouds of iron, raining molten metal during slightly cooler periods. These worlds, remnants of collisions, cores of destroyed planets, or formed in metal-rich regions of their protoplanetary disks, alien, inhospitable, but valuable. If metals could be harvested, helium planets, rare, where helium, instead of hydrogen, dominates the atmosphere. Such planets might form in unusual ways, or lose their hydrogen, leaving helium behind. Helium doesn't react, doesn't form compounds, just sits, inert. The atmosphere would be thin for its mass, helium, lighter than most gases except hydrogen. Sound would travel differently, faster, higher pitched, if there were anyone to speak. Silence, mostly, just wind, whistling in a higher key. Eyeball Earths, tidally locked planets, with a permanent hotspot facing the star and permanent cold on the dark side. The hotspot might have a liquid water band circling it like a pupil surrounded by iris of temperate land or ocean. Beyond that, ice, thickening toward the night side. The Terminator, the ring of twilight, might be the most habitable zone. Not too hot, not too cold. Life clustering there in the eternal sunset. Thump, thump, heavier, heavier. Your body, an eyeball Earth, the warm center, your core, comfortable, the extremities, cooler, relaxed, and you, existing in that perfect band, between waking and sleep, between thought and void, drifting in the Terminator of consciousness. P-worlds, ultra-dense, iron silicate spheres, small but incredibly massive, formed perhaps from the cores of larger planets, shattered in collisions, or from regions rich in heavy elements. These worlds might have surface gravity, crushing despite their small size. A world you could walk around in days, but where you'd weigh 3 times, 5 times what you do on Earth. Every step, an effort, every structure, needing to be low, heavy, built to withstand the relentless pull, downward, always downward, snowball planets in recovery, worlds emerging from global glaciation, the ice miles thick, covering everything, but now slowly melting as orbital changes or stellar brightening or volcanic activity warms the planet, glaciers retreating, revealing land unseen for millions of years, oceans beginning to flow again, life, if it survived, in geothermal refuges or frozen, now awakening, spreading, reclaiming a world, born anew, superionic ice mantle worlds, where water ice, under extreme pressure and temperature, becomes superionic ice. A strange state where oxygen atoms lock into a crystal lattice, but hydrogen ions flow freely through it like a liquid conducting electricity. This ice exists in the mantles of Uranus, Neptune, and perhaps in super-Earth water worlds, a layer between the rocky core and the liquid ocean above, strange, alien physics in the depths of worlds hidden from view. Thump, thump. Ammonia-based life planets, where water is rare, but ammonia is abundant. Ammonia can act as a solvent, like water, but at lower temperatures, minus 77 degrees Celsius, instead of 0. Life using ammonia chemistry would be different, alien, but perhaps possible. On cold worlds, where water is frozen, but ammonia flows, perhaps life finds a way, adapted, thriving, in what we would call uninhabitable, cold, but to them, perfect, sulfuric acid cloud life, speculative, but considered. In the clouds of Venus, 50 kilometers up, conditions are mild, temperature and pressure almost Earth-like. The clouds, made of sulfuric acid droplets, but microbes on Earth can survive in acid, so perhaps floating in Venus's clouds, microbial life, feeding on sunlight, on chemicals in the air, never touching the hellish surface below, just drifting, reproducing, existing in the sky, a biosphere, aerial, detached from the planet beneath. Your mind detached now from your body, from the room, from everything, just floating in the clouds of sleep, supported, suspended, safe. Thump, thump, heavier, heavier. Plasma Taurus moons, like Io, which creates a donut-shaped cloud of plasma around Jupiter from its volcanic eruptions, sulfur and oxygen ions, stripped by radiation, spreading into a torus, encircling the planet. Other moons, passing through this plasma, are bombarded, their surfaces chemically altered, sputtered, a harsh environment, but perhaps unique chemistry could occur, reactions impossible elsewhere, worlds inside expanding star envelopes. When a star becomes a red giant, it swells, engulfing its inner planets, Mercury, Venus, perhaps Earth will end this way. But the planet doesn't vaporize immediately. It spirals inward through the star's outer atmosphere, the drag, immense, friction, heating the planet to unimaginable temperatures. Slowly, Over thousands of years, it falls deeper into the heart of its dying sun, until finally it's consumed, destroyed, becoming part of the star once more. Thump, thump. Relativistic jet-swept planets near active galactic nuclei or gamma-ray burst sources where jets of particles accelerated to near light speed sweep across space. Any planet in the path would be sterilized, ionized, its atmosphere stripped in an instant, the surface scoured down to bedrock or deeper, a flash, and then silence. A world erased, left barren, orbiting, dead. A warning that the universe can be violent, sudden, final. Accretion disk embedded planets, forming worlds, still surrounded by the disk of gas and dust they're forming from growing, accreting material, but also being shaped by the disk. Spiral density waves, gravitational interactions, the planet carving a gap in the disk, clearing its orbit, but not done yet, still growing, still becoming. We can sometimes see these shadows in protoplanetary disks, gaps where planets are being born right now as we watch. Thump, thump. Circumbinary P-type versus S-type orbits. Planets around binary stars can orbit both stars. P-type, circumbinary, far out, where the stars look like a single bright point, or orbit just one star. S-type, closer in. The dynamics, complex. Three-body problem, chaotic. But some orbits are stable, resonant, locked into patterns that persist for billions of years. Planets dancing with two suns in gravitational ballet. Hot Neptunes in evaporation, losing their atmospheres. Mass loss rates detectable. These worlds are transitioning, becoming something else. In a few 100 million years, they might be bare, rocky cores, or they might retain enough atmosphere to be super-Earths with thick envelopes. We're witnessing transformation, evolution, not of life, but of worlds themselves, changing, adapting, or dying. Thump, thump. You're breathing, barely perceptible, like the thin remaining atmosphere of an evaporating planet, present, but fading, fading into the quiet. Cold Jupiters beyond the snowline, where water ice forms. These are the Jupiters, Saturns of other systems, born in the cold, migrated, or stayed put. Their moons, icy, perhaps harbouring oceans. Life might be more common on moons of cold giants than on the giants themselves. Europa, Enceladus, Titan are ours, but out there, around other stars, how many more? How many hidden seas, waiting, unknown, eccentric orbit migrators, planets whose orbits are highly elliptical, coming close to the star, then swinging far out. These orbits often result from gravitational interactions with other planets, a near miss, a close encounter that flung one planet inward, another outward, or both into eccentric paths. The seasons would be extreme. Short hot summers, long cold winters. Life would need to endure, to hibernate, to migrate, or to live underground, where temperature is stable, shielded from the wild swings above. Resonance-chained planetary systems, where planets are locked in orbital resonances, like musical notes, harmonics. For every 2 orbits of one planet, another completes 3 or 4, or some simple ratio. These resonances destabilize the system, prevent close encounters, collisions. TRAPPIST-1 is resonance-chained, all 7 planets linked in a harmonic dance that will last for billions of years. A cosmic symphony played on instruments of stone and gas, conducted by gravity. Thump, thump, thump. Troy world clusters, multiple planets, sharing the same orbit at different Lagrange points, stable, never colliding, but close enough that travel between them might be easier than to planets in different orbits. A system with 4, 5, 6 worlds, all at the same distance from their star, but separated by 60 degrees. Civilizations on such worlds would see their neighbors bright in the sky, and space travel might develop differently, more focused on the Trojans than the inner or outer system. Shepherded ring moon systems, like Saturn's, where small moons orbit within or near the rings, their gravity shaping, sculpting, clearing gaps, creating waves and braids in the rings responding, moving, always changing, but in predictable ways. These moons, shepherd moons, keep the rings confined, prevent them from spreading or collapsing. A delicate balance maintained by gravity's invisible hand. Thump, thump. Worlds with iron rain, where iron vapor, high in the atmosphere, condenses, falls as liquid droplets, molten metal, raining down. Such planets are so hot that even iron exists as gas. The day side, thousands of degrees, iron vaporizing, carried by winds to the night side, cooling, condensing, falling, then flowing back to evaporate again. An iron cycle, like Earth's water cycle, but alien, extreme, metallic. Thump, thump. Your body, heavy as iron, sinking into the mattress, into the dark. No resistance, just falling, slowly, softly, heavier, heavier. Diamond anvil oceans on carbon-rich worlds, where oceans might exist under such pressure that carbon forms diamond, not in solid layers, but as diamond anvil conditions in the ocean depths, water compressed, exotic ice phases beneath layers of diamond, strange worlds where the ocean floor sparkles, where pressure creates gemstones, not valuable because they're everywhere, common but beautiful. Perhaps if anyone could see that deep thump, thump, supercritical fluid mantle planets, where the mantle isn't solid, isn't liquid, but supercritical, a state where gas and liquid merge, become indistinguishable. Under enough pressure and temperature, substances become supercritical fluids, behaving like both gas and liquid, a mantle, flowing but dense, convecting, transferring heat, but in ways different from solid rock or magma, alien geology, alien tectonics, perhaps no earthquakes, just slow, constant flow, mantle-stripped core worlds where collisions have stripped away the mantle, leaving just the metallic core and a thin rocky crust or no crust. Mercury might be partially stripped, its core, making up a larger fraction than normal. Imagine a world where the core is exposed, or nearly so, magnetic fields, incredibly strong, surface, metallic, rich in iron, nickel, precious metals, but hostile, no atmosphere, no water, just metal and silence. Thump, thump, airless water-rich bodies like some moons covered in ice, but with no atmosphere, the ice sublimating slowly, molecules escaping directly to space. These worlds are losing their water gradually over billions of years, but for now they remain icy, preserved, ancient water from the formation of the solar system, locked, frozen, waiting. Sub-Neptunes with magma oceans, worlds between Earth and Neptune in size, with molten rock surfaces or subsurfaces beneath thick atmospheres. The heat from formation, from radioactive decay, hasn't dissipated yet, or can't trapped by the atmosphere, so the surface remains molten, churning for millions of years, slowly cooling, solidifying, eventually becoming a super Earth with a solid surface. We might be watching these worlds transition from one phase to another, ultra-short period planets orbiting their stars in hours, not days. So close. Tidal forces are immense. These planets are often being destroyed, evaporating, or will be soon. They're rare, hard to explain, perhaps captured, perhaps migrated inward and got stuck, or formed in situ from unusual conditions. But they won't last. Cosmically speaking, they're ephemeral, transient, doomed. Thump, thump, heavier, heavier. Your heartbeat, so slow now, each beat, separated by eternities. Thump, thump, like the orbit of an ultra-short period planet. Fast, but from your perspective, slow, elongated, time dilating as you sink into sleep. Disrupted disk remnant worlds, planets formed from debris disks around stars that were disrupted by a stellar flyby, a passing star, the disk shattered, scattered, but some material remained, coalesced, forming planets from the remnants. These worlds might have unusual compositions or orbits, inclined, eccentric, chaotic, born from catastrophe, but surviving, thriving, perhaps. Bede's window exoplanets, planets found toward the center of our galaxy by looking through a gap in the dust. Bede's window, where we can see through to the galactic bulge. These planets are ancient, orbiting old stars in a crowded region, where stars are close, skies there, filled with stars, no dark spaces, just light, everywhere. Civilizations there would never know. A dark night sky, always bright, illuminated by thousands of nearby suns. Bulge population 2 planets, old metal-poor stars in the galactic bulge. Some have planets formed when the universe was young, from material with few heavy elements. These worlds might lack the elements we consider essential. Carbon, oxygen, nitrogen, less abundant. Could life form in such conditions? We don't know. But these planets are older than Earth by billions of years. If life arose, if civilizations developed, they've had so much time to grow, to spread, or to die. Thump, thump. Thick disk ancient worlds. Stars in the thick disk of the galaxy. Old, moving in random orbits, tilted. Some have planets, ancient planets, witnesses to the galaxy's history. These worlds have seen stars being born, dying, nebulae forming, dissipating for billions of years. They've orbited, unchanged, or changed slowly, eroding, cooling, aging like stars themselves. Thin disk young systems, stars in the thin disk where the sun resides, younger, richer in metals. Their planets, more likely to be rocky, Earth-like. These are the systems we search for life in, because they're like ours. Similar composition, similar age, similar environments, but young on cosmic scales. Still evolving, still changing, still, perhaps, giving birth to new life, new minds, new civilizations. Thump, thump, the great attractor, a gravitational anomaly, pulling our galaxy and thousands of others toward a region of space. We're moving at hundreds of kilometers per second toward it, drawn by its mass, but we can't see it, hidden behind the disk of our own galaxy, dust blocking the view. What is it? A massive cluster of galaxies, a superstructure, something pulling, always pulling, and we drift toward it, helpless. Thump, thump, hypervelocity stars ejected from the galactic core by encounters with the supermassive black hole, flung outward at thousands of kilometers per second, fast enough to escape the galaxy. These stars and any planets they have are leaving forever, heading out into intergalactic space, into the void between galaxies, where they'll drift alone for billions, trillions of years, exiles, orphans, refugees from the galactic center, carrying their worlds into the dark. Planets around hypervelocity stars would have skies that change over millennia. As the star speeds away from the galaxy, the stars in the sky would shift, spread out, thin, eventually almost disappear, leaving a sky with only the most distant galaxies, faint smudges, and darkness, their sun still shining, but everything else receding, fading, a lonely existence, drifting away from everything into the cosmic void. Thump, thump, heavier, heavier. Your thoughts, like those planets, drifting away from consciousness, from awareness, spreading out, thinning, until only darkness remains. Soft, complete, welcoming darkness. The mysteries deepen as sleep approaches, and the worlds continue their endless dance through space, through time, each one unique, each one a a wonder waiting to be discovered, or remaining forever unknown. Thump, thump. In the silence between heartbeats, between breaths, the mysteries continue, unfolding in the dark, where your mind floats, untethered, free. Mirror worlds with inverted chemistry, theoretical, where matter might be reflected, different atomic structures, different physical laws, perhaps existing parallel to our own. We can't see them, can't detect them, except through gravity. Maybe these worlds, if they exist, would be invisible, intangible, ghosts, sharing space with our universe, but never touching, never interacting. A shadow cosmos, complete with its own stars, planets, perhaps its own life, watching us as we watch them, unknowing. Thump, thump. Your body becoming a mirror world, present but fading from awareness, solid but feeling weightless, here, but also somewhere else, drifting between states, between waking and sleep, neither, both, heavier, heavier. Methane seas of Titan, we return to them because they call to us. These alien oceans, so cold that methane flows like water, waves lapping on hydrocarbon shores, tides pulled by Saturn's gravity, the liquid, clear, transparent. You could see through it if you could survive there or to look. Rain falls slowly in the thick atmosphere, taking hours to reach the surface, creating puddles, streams, rivers that flow to the seas. A cycle, like Earth's water cycle, but colder, stranger, alien, yet familiar. Thump, thump. Exotic atmospheres of exoplanets. Some contain titanium oxide, vanadium oxide, heavy metals as gases, others silicon monoxide, creating hazes, clouds of sand, essentially. Some planets have atmospheres that are escaping, streaming away into space, visible as comet-like tails, hot, turbulent, transient, each atmosphere unique, a fingerprint of that world's history, composition, fate. We study them by watching starlight pass through, reading the spectrum, the absorption lines, decoding what elements are present, what molecules, what conditions exist up there in those distant skies. Some exoplanets might have oxygen-rich atmospheres, not from life, but from photochemistry, water vapor, split by ultraviolet light, hydrogen escaping, oxygen remaining, a false biosignature that could fool us, make us think life exists when it's just chemistry, just physics, acting over time. This is why we must be careful when searching for life to consider all possibilities, all explanations, before concluding we found something living. Thump, thump. Protoplanets in dust disks, still forming, accreting material, colliding with each other, merging, growing. We can see them, sometimes, as gaps, as spirals, in protoplanetary disks. Their gravity, pulling in gas and dust, clearing their orbits. These are worlds in their infancy, violent, chaotic, being born through collision, through accumulation, grain by grain, boulder by boulder, growing until they become planets, complete, stable. But that takes millions of years, and we see them only snapshots, moments in their long formation. Worlds with eternal storms, like Jupiter's great red spot, a storm larger than Earth, raging for centuries, perhaps longer, on some exoplanets. Hot Jupiters. Storms might cover entire hemispheres, driven by temperature differences between day and night sides, winds, circulating heat at thousands of miles per hour, creating weather patterns that never change, never settle. A planet where the forecast is always the same, always stormy, always violent, forever. Thump, thump, heavier, heavier. Your breath, a gentle breeze, compared to those storms, soft, regular, barely stirring, the quiet air around you, peaceful, calm. Unlike those tortured worlds, you rest in stillness. Pulsar planets, we touched on them, but let's drift there again. Pulsars, spinning neutron stars, lighthouse beams, sweeping across space, milliseconds per rotation. These dead stars, some have planets. How they survived, the supernova, is unclear. Perhaps they formed from the debris. These worlds are bombarded by radiation, intense, lethal. Their surfaces sterilized, repeatedly, continuously. No life could survive unless deep underground, shielded by miles of rock, living on geothermal heat, never knowing the surface, never seeing the pulsar's deadly light. Thump, thump, thump. Lava oceans on young worlds, newly formed, still hot from accretion, from radioactive decay, from impacts. The surface, molten, glowing, red, yellow, white, depending on temperature. No solid ground anywhere, just liquid rock, churning, convecting, slowly cooling over millions of years. Eventually a crust forms, thin at first, easily broken, remelting, but gradually thickening, stabilizing, cooling, until the world has a solid surface and the lava ocean and becomes the mantle beneath, hidden, but still there, still flowing, just slower. Thump, thump. Desert planets with thin atmospheres, like Mars, but warmer, habitable. These worlds might have most of their water locked in polar ice caps or underground as permafrost. The surface dry, rocky, windswept, dust storms, common, sweeping across continents, day-night temperature swings, extreme, without thick atmosphere, to moderate. Life, if it exists, would cluster around water sources, underground aquifers, ice that melts seasonally, adapted to conserve, to endure, to survive in scarcity. Crystalline surface worlds, where the surface is not rock, not soil, but crystal, perhaps formed from specific minerals, cooling slowly, allowing crystal growth, fields of quartz, calcite, other structures, geometric, repeating, a landscape of facets, reflecting light, sparkling, beautiful, but alien. Walking there would be like walking through a geode the size of a planet, every step crunching on crystal formations that took millions of years to grow. Thump, thump, heavier, heavier. Your mind crystallizing, thoughts forming patterns, regular, repeating, then dissolving into formless, peaceful emptiness. Nothing but the slow rhythm and of rest. Thump, thump. Worlds with floating continents, not on water, but on denser fluids, or suspended by other means. Perhaps continents of porous rock, filled with lighter gases, buoyant, drifting across the planet's surface, moved by deep currents, by winds, colliding, separating, reconfiguring over geological time, a dynamic surface where maps are always outdated, where nothing stays in the same place for long. Civilizations there would be nomadic, perhaps following resources, following habitable zones as the continents drift. High gravity planets pull again at our thoughts. Imagine trying to launch a rocket from a super Earth 5 times our mass, the escape velocity much higher, the fuel required immense. Maybe chemical rockets couldn't do it. Maybe they'd need nuclear propulsion or electromagnetic launch systems, or they'd give up on space travel entirely. Looking at the stars, knowing they're unreachable, trapped by their own world's gravity. A golden cage, beautiful but inescapable. Low gravity worlds where escape is easier. A moon like Titan or Europa. Low escape velocity, easier to reach orbit, to escape. Perhaps life there, if it arose, would develop space travel earlier, more easily, spreading to nearby worlds, moons, building civilizations across a moon system rather than being confined to one world. Advantage from weakness, freedom from low gravity's gentle grip. Thump, thump, dark matter, and we return to it, that invisible substance that makes up most of the universe's mass. We know it's there from how galaxies rotate, how they cluster, but we can't see it, can't touch it. It passes through everything, only interacting via gravity. Could there be dark matter planets, dark matter stars, an entire shadow cosmos of structure, invisible, coexisting with ours? Galaxies within galaxies, worlds within worlds, and we'd never know unless we mapped the gravity, felt their pull. Thump, thump, eternal twilight planets, tidally locked. One more time, because they're peaceful. The sun hovering on the horizon, never rising, never setting. The light, dim, red, gentle. The temperature, mild, stable. Water, if present, might pool in the twilight zone. Life would never know. Bright noon or deep midnight, just this in between, this permanent, gentle, amber light, like the light behind your closed eyelids, soft, warm, safe. Thump, thump, heavier, heavier, your body sinking, past the point of return, the transition complete from waking to sleeping, imperceptible, gentle, like crossing the terminator from day to twilight to night. Nothing to mark it, just the slow, inevitable drift. Worlds orbiting black holes, far enough out to be safe from tidal destruction, from the accretion disk's heat. These planets would experience time differently. Time dilation, subtle but present. Clocks would run slower than clocks far from the black hole. A year for them might be a year and a day elsewhere, small but measurable. Reality warped by mass, by gravity. Einsteinian physics, not just theory, but lived experience every moment of every day. Thump, thump, magnetic storm planets with auroras that never cease. The atmosphere fluorescing constantly. Charged particles from the star funneled by magnetic fields to the poles or everywhere, depending on field geometry. Light shows in green, red, violet, blue, rippling, dancing, a sky never still, never dark, always alive with moving light. Perhaps inhabitants there would navigate by aurora patterns, tell time by their fluctuations, build culture around the dancing sky. Thump, thump, subsurface ocean moons, dozens, perhaps in our solar system, hidden beneath ice, beneath rock, all that water, all those potential habitats, and we've barely begun to explore. Europa Clipper, missions planned but not yet launched, or just beginning. What will we find when we drill through, send probes down into those dark seas? Nothing or everything. The answer waits in the deep, patient, ancient, unknown. Thump, thump, heavier, heavier. You're breathing, subsurface now, barely detectable, deep, slow, internal, like those hidden oceans, present, alive, but concealed beneath layers of relaxation, of sleep, quiet, dark, warm, planets with shattered crusts, tectonically dead worlds that suffered massive impacts, breaking the crust into continent-sized fragments. These pieces don't move like Earth's plates. They're just frozen there, shattered, with gaps between, exposing the mantle, creating unusual terrain, mountains where fragments tilt upward, canyons where fragments separated, a broken world that never healed, never reformed, just persists in its shattered state for billions of years. Thump, thump, worlds of perpetual aurora already mentioned, but we can drift there again. Imagine skies that glow every night, every day, light without fire, without sun, just the atmosphere itself shining. Different cultures would develop different myths about the lights. Are they gods? Are they spirits? Are they just physics, beauty, without meaning beyond their own existence? Thump, thump. Hydrogen-rich sky planets, mini Neptunes, where balloons of life might drift, gas bag organisms lighter than air, floating. We've imagined them, but feel the weightlessness, the drift, never touching ground, never needing to. Born in the air, dying in the air, entire life cycles in 3 dimension, free, unconstrained, drifting like you now in the ocean of sleep. Thump, thump, heavier, heavier, silicate vapor worlds where rock is gas, clouds of silicon, of oxygen, of metals, raining glass, raining stones. These worlds are furnaces, prisons of heat, but they exist, they orbit, they are real, somewhere, out there, in the galaxy, suffering, if worlds can suffer, or just existing, in their extreme, normal, to them, alien, to us, thump, thump, star-skimming planets, orbiting so close, they touch the stars' outer layers. Imagine the view from such a world. The sun filling half the sky, larger than the sky itself, curving up and over like standing inside a sphere of fire. The heat unbearable, the light blinding, the roar of stellar wind deafening. If sound could travel in space, no life could exist there, but the planet persists, for now, dancing with destruction. Thump, thump, your heartbeat skimming the edge of perception, barely there, barely felt, like a distant star, pulsing, faint in the dark. Thump, thump, planets with ringed horizons, those beautiful ring worlds where arcs of ice span the sky, shadows moving across the land, marking time more reliably than the sun. The rings, bright at night, reflecting sunlight, creating ring shine, never truly dark unless the planet is eclipsed by the ring's shadow. A few times per orbit, brief periods of true night when the rings block the sun and the world knows darkness, finally, briefly, then back to ring shine and shadow play. Thump, thump, chaotic orbit worlds, returning where seasons are unpredictable, where the year's length changes year by year. Imagine planning agriculture on such a world. You can't predict when winter comes, how long it lasts, how severe. Life would need flexibility, adaptability, or technology to survive, independent of seasonal cycles. Underground cities, perhaps, with artificial light, artificial seasons, ignoring the chaos above, thriving. Despite it, thump, thump, heavier, heavier. Ancient rogue civilizations on rogue planets, drifting in the dark. Let's imagine they exist, a people who evolved on a planet ejected from its system. They survived by going underground, by harnessing geothermal energy, by adapting to eternal night. Their myths would have no sun, no sky, no stars, just the warm depths and the cold surface, and legends of a time before when the world was different, brighter, though no one remembers. Thump, thump. Would they wonder if other worlds exist? Would they dream of finding another civilization, another rogue world, drifting through the dark? Would they search, sending signals into the void, hoping someone answers, or would they assume they're alone? The only world in all the darkness, unique, isolated, precious. Thump, thump, ultra-dense worlds, pea-sized planets with crushing gravity, revisited because their strangeness calls to us. Imagine standing there, if you could, your weight tripled, quadrupled, every movement exhausting, but the horizon so close, curvature visible. Walk for an hour and you'd circle the entire world, a planet small enough to hold, yet massive enough to crush. Paradox, in physical form, existing despite seeming impossible. Thump, thump, neon worlds glowing softly as in the dark, their atmospheres charged by cosmic rays, by stellar wind, emitting light, faint, ethereal, like distant neon signs, advertising nothing to no one, just existing, beautiful, purposeless, except to be themselves. Thump, thump, heavier, heavier, your mind glowing faintly, like neon, then dimming, dimming, until only the faintest trace remains, a ghost of thought, drifting, fading into the deep, the quiet, the dark, tidally heated moons, like Io. But let's feel it. The constant squeezing, the stretching of tidal forces and generating heat, friction in the interior, keeping the world molten, active, volcanic. For billions of years, this can continue as long as the moon stays in its orbit, as long as the giant planet keeps pulling, keeps releasing an eternity of heat, of activity, of change, never resting, never cooling, always, always in motion. Thump, thump, bioluminescent worlds, speculative but beautiful, forests that glow blue-green at night, oceans sparkling with microscopic light, animals signalling with flashes, with patterns, communication, written in light on living canvases, a world that illuminates itself, that needs no moon, no stars to light the night, just life itself, abundant, radiant, alive. Thump, thump, planet-sized comets made of ice drifting in the outer dark. If one were moved inward, brought close to a star, it would sublimate spectacularly, a tail stretching for millions of miles, visible from neighbouring systems, a beacon, temporary, beautiful, doomed. Eventually, all the ice would boil away, leaving a rocky core or nothing, just vapour dispersed into space, gone. Thump, thump, heavier, heavier, your thoughts sublimating, evaporating into the vacuum of sleep, becoming less and less until they're just wisps, traces, then nothing, just the core of you, remaining at rest, deep, deep in the dark. Worlds formed around dead stars, white dwarfs, neutron stars, how they survived, or formed after the star's death, we don't fully know, but they're there, detected, orbiting, remnants. These worlds witnessed their sun's death throes, the expansion into red giant or the supernova, and somehow persisted, stripped, perhaps, of atmospheres, of oceans, but not destroyed, now orbiting, a corpse, a stellar remnant, glowing faintly, or not at all, in the dark. Thump, thump. Chthonian planets, gas giants, stripped, only cores remaining. We see them, close to stars, where radiation has boiled away. Their atmospheres, what's left, is rock, metal, iron, silicates, exposed, raw, the inner secrets of gas giants, revealed. These worlds show us what lies beneath the clouds of Jupiter, Saturn, worlds we can never fully see. But here, in these stripped cores, we can understand their structure, their composition, their heart. Thump, thump, Elysian worlds, ocean planets, with hydrogen skies, a new hope for habitability. Maybe life could exist at the boundary between ocean and atmosphere, or in the ocean beneath the hydrogen. These worlds are common, more common than Earth twins, and if life can arise there, then the galaxy might be teeming with organisms swimming in those global seas beneath hydrogen blankets, warm, wet, alive, or perhaps not. Perhaps they're sterile, beautiful, but empty. We'll learn as we study them, as we search for biosignatures in their atmospheres. Thump, thump, heavier, heavier. Lava rain planets, molten metal, falling from the sky, already visited, but the image haunts, draws us back. Imagine if you could see it safely from orbit, the night side glowing with lava flows, the day side too bright, too hot to look at, and the rain, droplets of stone, of iron streaking down from the clouds, like meteors, but rain, common, frequent, not rare. A world where the impossible is weather. Thump, thump, metal-rich hell worlds, surfaces of iron, of nickel, reflective, shining, the heat, radiating, visible as infrared glow. These worlds are valuable if anyone could mine them, but deadly, hostile. No one goes there, no one can. They remain untouched, unvisited, treasure, unreachable, forever. Thump, thump. Helium planets, light atmospheres, high-pitched winds, if they made sound. These worlds are oddballs, rare, unusual, but they exist somewhere in the vastness, adding to the diversity, the variety of worlds, each one unique, each one a variation on the theme of planet thump, thump, heavier, heavier, your body light now, despite its heaviness, paradox of relaxation, heavy and weightless, sinking and floating, both, neither, just at rest in the deep, quiet, dark, eyeball earths, tidally locked, with liquid water circling the hotspot, already seen, but peaceful. The eternal twilight zone where life might thrive, the stillness of the air, no day-night cycles, no seasons, just constancy, sameness, a predictable world, stable, calm, like sleep, unchanging, peaceful, always the same temperature, light, conditions, forever. Thump, thump. P-worlds, ultra-dense. We felt their gravity, crushing, oppressive. But also, imagine, their sunrises. The sun, rising, and within minutes, at the zenith, then setting on the other side. Daylight, brief, intense. Unless the world rotates slowly, then maybe longer days. But that gravity, always there, always pulling, never relenting. A world that holds tight to everything on its surface, never letting go. Thump, thump. Snowball planets emerging from glaciation, the ice melting, revealing land, water, life, returning, recolonizing, a second chance, a new beginning, after eons of frozen sleep. The world waking as you just descend into sleep. Cycles of ice and warmth, of sleep and waking, galaxies turning through time. Thump, thump, heavier, heavier. Supersonic ice in the mantles of water worlds. Ice that's hot, that conducts electricity. Exotic, strange, existing only under conditions we can't replicate easily on Earth. These states of matter teach us that the universe is full of surprises, that what seems impossible is just unexplored, waiting to be found, to be understood. Thump, thump. Ammonia life, sulfuric acid life, exotic chemistries where water is scarce, but other solvents abundant. Life adapts, finds a way, or doesn't. But the possibility exists that on cold worlds, hot worlds, acidic worlds, life completely alien might thrive. We'd barely recognize it, might not detect it, even if we looked directly at it. Different, so different. It's beyond our current imagination. Thump, thump. Plasma Taurus moons, like Io, creating donut-shaped clouds of charged particles around their planets. These moons are connected to their planets by magnetic field lines, like invisible threads, carrying current, energy, causing auroras at the planet's poles. A symbiosis of sorts. Moon and planet, bound together electromagnetically, not just gravitationally. Thump, thump, heavier, heavier. Your consciousness, a plasma torus, diffusing, spreading out, becoming less distinct, less concentrated, more dispersed, until it's just a faint glow around the core of your being. Thump, thump. Worlds inside expanding star envelope, swallowed by their dying sun, spiraling inward through the red giant's atmosphere, doomed, but taking years, centuries, millennia to finally fall into the core. Those final years, what would they be like? The sky, bright all the time, the star's atmosphere glowing around you, heat increasing, slowly, then rapidly, then oblivion, a death, gradual, inevitable, watching the end approach, unable to escape. Thump, thump. Relativistic jet-swept planets in the paths of gamma ray bursts or jets active galactic nuclei. These worlds are erased in an instant. All life, all atmosphere, all surface features scoured away, leaving bare rock or melting. The rock itself, a cosmic catastrophe, sudden, total, without warning, without mercy. The universe can be violent, cruel, random, thump, thump. Accretion disk planets forming now, embedded in the disk of gas and dust, growing, accreting. We can see their gaps, their wakes in the disk, and we know they're there, being born. We're watching creation in real time, across light years, worlds coming into being as others die. The cycle continues, always, has, always will. Thump, thump, heavier, heavier. Your heartbeat, the rhythm of creation and destruction, of stars being born, stars dying, planets forming, planets shattered, all of it connected, all of it part of the same cosmic dance. Thump, thump, circumbinary planets orbiting two suns, P-type, S-type. We've named them, visited them, but feel their skies. Two sunrises, two sunsets, shadows that cross, that merge, that separate, complex, beautiful, never boring, always changing. The dance of light and shadow, unique to these worlds, special, rare, precious. Thump, thump, hot Neptunes, evaporating, losing mass, changing before our instruments. We're witnessing transformation, planetary evolution in fast forward, relatively. These worlds won't last, won't remain as they are. In 1 billion years, they'll be different, smaller, or gone, transient, temporary, like all things. Nothing lasts forever, except change itself. Thump, thump. Cold Jupiters, beyond the snowline, stable, steady, like Jupiter, like Saturn. These are the normal ones, the expected ones, giants in the cold with icy moons, perhaps harbouring hidden oceans, hidden life. The moons, more interesting than the planets themselves. Sometimes the supporting cast steals the show. Thump, thump, heavier, heavier. Eccentric migrators on elliptical paths, swinging close, swinging far, experiencing extremes, never settling, never stable, always in flux, like thoughts before sleep, wild, chaotic, then gradually, slowly, settling into circular paths, stable patterns, simple rhythms, until finally, barely moving, barely there, just a faint trace. Thump, thump, resonance chain systems like TRAPPIST-1, planets locked in orbital harmony, each one tugging, pushing the others into precise patterns like music, like mathematics, like poetry. A system that sings silently in gravitational waves, too faint to hear, but there, always there, a cosmic symphony playing forever. Thump, thump, clusters of Troy, worlds sharing orbits, companions, but distant, 60 degrees apart, moving together, never meeting. A lonely kind of parallel to your thoughts, present, but not quite, touchable, fading as sleep deepens. Thump, thump, heavier, heavier, shepherd moons, shaping rings, sculpting, creating gaps, waves, a small moon with influence beyond its size, like small moments that shape entire lives, tiny but crucial. Without them, the rings would spread, dissipate, lose their structure. With them, beauty, order, pattern emerges from chaos. Thump, thump, iron rain falling on hot worlds, metallic precipitation. We've imagined it, felt it in our mind's eye, and it's real somewhere out there. Iron vapor condensing, falling as liquid metal droplets, splashing into iron pools, flowing back to the day side to evaporate again. Eternal cycling forever. Thump, thump, your thoughts cycling, repeating, but slower now, slower, each loop taking longer, longer, until they almost stop. Just faint echoes of echoes, barely there. Thump, thump. Diamond oceans, carbon planets, oceans under pressure, so high, carbon forms, diamond at the bottom, a sea floor of gemstones, sparkling in the dark, no light to see them, no eyes to witness, but there, nonetheless, beautiful, whether seen or not, beauty for its own sake. Thump, thump, supercritical mantles where solid and liquid merge, become indistinguishable, flowing but dense, convecting but not quite, liquid, a state between states, like you, now, between waking and sleeping, neither, both, in transition, drifting through, the grey zone, the in-between. Thump, thump, heavier, heavier, stripped core worlds, mantle gone, just iron, nickel, remaining, magnetic fields, powerful, surfaces, metallic, shining. These worlds show us what's inside, planets, their hearts, their cores, exposed, vulnerable, revealed, all secrets, visible, nothing hidden, just truth, unveiled, simple, pure, thump, thump. And so, the mysteries continue, endlessly. 100 facts, 100 worlds, 100 wonders, all drifting through your mind like shooting stars, like thoughts, like dreams, each one leaving a trail, fading, disappearing into the dark. Thump, thump. The universe keeps turning, spinning, orbiting, falling through space, through time, and you, part of it, atom by atom, star stuff, ancient, young, eternal, temporary, everything, connected, everything, one in the vast, dark, quiet expanse. Thump, thump, your breath barely stirring, the air like solar wind, gentle, constant, invisible, just existing. Nothing more needed, nothing more required, just this, now, here, in the dark. Thump, thump, the worlds keep spinning in their orbits, predictable, eternal, rogue planets, drifting, aimless, free ocean moons, hiding secrets in the deep, gas giants churning clouds forever. Diamond worlds, sparkling, unseen in the night. All of them out there, somewhere, waiting, existing, continuing their ancient dance. Thump, thump, and we'll keep drifting, floating together through the mysteries, 100 mysteries of alien worlds, looping softly, endlessly, through the night, the universe, vast, beautiful, strange, and you, small, significant, resting, finally, in the dark, in the deep, in the endless, quiet, peace. Thump, thump. The stars are far, and so far that like taking years, centuries to reach us. But here, now, in this moment, you're connected to all of it, made of stardust, born from the same nebulae that birth worlds, kin to every planet, every moon, every asteroid, and drifting through the cosmos, together, alone, together. Thump, thump, let go of everything, every thought, every worry, every sensation. Let it all drift away like atmosphere, escaping molecule by molecule into space until nothing remains but the core, silent, heavy, at rest in the infinite, dark. Thump, thump. Mysteries of alien worlds, whispered softly into the night, settling like dust on distant moons, covering everything, gently, quietly, completely, until all is still. All is calm, all is rest. Thump, thump. The universe keeps turning its veil over the deep mysteries of alien worlds, and will keep drifting, floating together through the mysteries.